Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a new video. In this video, we are talking about ranking every single boss in Dark Souls Remastered from easiest to hardest. So, don't forget to press like and subscribe, and let's get right into this. At number 26, the easiest boss in the game, at nobody's surprise, is Asylum Demon. All you need to do really to defeat this boss is just stick to his ass and then or throw bombs at him. If you stick to his ass, none of his attack really hit you, so just stay close to it, and you will be able to defeat easily. Or choose the fire bombs as your beginning gift, and just throw a couple at him, and he's dead. Isn't supposed to be like a real boss. He's just a tutorial boss, so it's no surprise that he's dead last in terms of difficulty. At number 25, to no one's surprise, is Pinwheel. Pinwheel is the joke boss of Dark Souls. He isn't much of a boss, like they call him a boss, but he dies in like 5 hits with most things. If you hit harder than a wet noodle, you will be able to kill him. He really doesn't do much. And the 3 times I played, he just moved around the arena and threw a fireball once at me before he died. So he really is just a joke, and nobody's gonna have problems with him unless you immediately gone for the catacombs and you found him in your ass. Yeah, then he somewhat of a boss, but still pretty easy. At number 24 is Moonlight Butterfly. He is the dumbest boss in the game. If you are playing melee like you should, because all mages are a bunch of pussies, all he does is shoot stuff at you from far away. And then he sleeps at the bridge right in front of you for some reason, so you can hit him a couple of times until he goes back, flies, and you hit him again. He's just a really annoying boss. He isn't difficult at all you need to just keep rolling through his attacks, but if you have low DPS, he is really a struggle just because he takes so long to come back to the bridge to hit him again. But other than that, he's just dodge. At number 23 is Keeping Dragon. This is just a pussy dragon with teeth. All you need to do to defeat this pussy of a boss, all you need to just go to his right back leg and just keep hitting at it. All of his moves are forward, so he doesn't do much to you. At this point of the game, you should really have learned how to deal with these kind of bosses. Especially this one, it was way too easy. All he does is just storm forward, but if you do get hit by his stunt move, you will pretty much get one-shotted, but it's really easy to avoid. At number 22 is Starter's Demon. This is the first real boss in the game, where you need to actually get good. For anyone who played Dark Souls multiple times, this boss is a joke, but for the people who are new players, this boss is where the real Dark Souls begin, with his somewhat fast attacks and his large swings in this small area. You need to learn how to actually dodge, and all you need is to stick to his ball sack, and when he attacks, just roll forward and you should be fine. So yeah, it's really easy, but once you learn how Dark Souls actually works. At number 21 is Stray Demon. Stray Demon is just a thicker version of Asylum Demon with some extra blasts with his hammer, so it bumps up the difficulty a bit more, but not by much. After you hit his ass, all you need is to run away when he does his slam down attack for 2 seconds, and then come back and hit his ass until you win. So yeah, all of the demons, even the one further in the list, they're not really hard. They're all copy of each other, and if you know how to defeat one, you know how to defeat all 3 of them. At number 20 is Iron Golem. This boss looks threatening, but as soon as you hit him, with enough force, he will start to wobble, then fall like a dumbass, and then just continue doing nothing. Maybe because I was using really strong weapons, or for some reason he just didn't attack for most of the fight. If you hit his legs 2 or 3 times, he will just keep wobbling until he falls and dies like a dumbass of full damage, or you just kill him. So he wasn't much of a threat, but at the beginning he kinda had cool moves. He had this slash wind attack, so I guess it was kinda cool and somewhat difficult at the beginning, but as soon as you reach him and attack his legs, he's not really much of a threat. At number 19 is Bill Gargoyle. This boss is the most standard boss ever, really. He's just middle of the line, like a cool feature. Once you're very close to killing him, another one spawns in, so that's really a surprise. And his weapon is cool if you cut his tail off, but he isn't really. He's not. There's not a lot to say about him. He's just your standard boss. It was kind of surprising when the second one came, but if you have enough damage, you won't even notice that they're supposed to be two together at the same time. I just killed the first one, and then the second one came because I had a lot of DPS. Maybe I was over leveled or something. At number 18 is Demon Fire Sage. This is just an even thicker version of Stray Demon, but with fire this time. So he's not really much of a threat. He does bigger explosions, so yeah, that hit me a couple of times, but he isn't much of a threat. Yes, his explosions are big, but you can just run away and then heal and then continue the strategies for the other two. Keep hitting his ass, and then when he does explosion, you run away and then come back until he's dead. But at least he's in fire though. At number 17 is Crossbred Priscilla, probably the most tragic boss in the game, but she is not much of a threat really. She turns invisible, yeah, but as long as you have eyes and you look where she's going by her footstep in the snow, you will be fine. She is long, but she doesn't do any of her attacks don't involve any like big sweep attacks. She just does random attacks that don't do much damage, and the turning invisible thing is kinda cool, but it doesn't do much. So yeah. At number 16 is Dark Sun Gwendolyn. This is not really a boss, this is just a running simulator disguised as a boss. All you need to do is just run, and once he attacks you, you dodge the attack or go behind the pillars shown in the fight, and eventually you will get him. As even if you hit him once, it's only gonna take like 5 times. He isn't much of a threat, but that big piercing attack is sometimes hard to dodge, so that's why he's up here. But overall, you shouldn't have much of a problem fighting this boss. At number 15 is Capra Demon. This shouldn't be as hard as it really is, but if it weren't for the stupid dogs that they for some reason put it in the fight, and the very small area that they put you in, you get stuck a lot, especially when they all surround you. You can't dodge out of them, you need to hit, but they will always stun lock you. But if you finally squeeze through them and kill the dogs first, the Capra Demon is still no joke. He still does a lot of damage, and his attacks timing are unpredictable. Second most bullshit boss in the game. That's why he is my second most hated boss in the game. And in terms of difficulty, he's not really difficult. He's more of a bullshit boss than a difficult boss, but he has some difficult aspects about him. At number 14 is Chaos Witch Q-Lag. In terms of design, we can all say that she is the best by far. But in terms of difficulty, if you don't know how to time your dodges, you will get destroyed by her. She also had this huge explosion attack where she hugs the spider part of her, and she almost one-shots you every single time. So if you're not careful and you don't run fast enough, you will die more times than you expect. At number 13 is Seath the Scaleless. He is just one big thick dragon that once you know what you're supposed to do, he is very easy, but if you don't, you will struggle with his ice attacks that give you curse, so if you're not careful, you will get fucked hard. All you need to do is just stick to his right back tentacle and just keep hitting, and once the ice attack hits you, you just roll around and you should be fine. But he is still pretty tough if you don't know what you are doing. At number 12 is Centipede Demon. They should rename this boss to Camera and AI, because that's what you are really fighting in this boss. If he finally stops trying to fist you from far away in the lava, the camera and AI is shit itself, because once he comes close to you, it doesn't know what to do because the area is small, and you will get damaged for no reason because you can't see anything. But my tip is to have heavy armor, so even when he hits you, you don't take much damage, because you really don't need movement, because you will just keep fighting the camera trying to hit him in the legs until he finally dies. At number 11 is Ceaseless Discharge. I played this game 3 times now, and I still don't know how to kill him normally. I always do the cheese version of his boss fight, because his breath attack is bullshit. It does way too much damage, way too much range, and I don't know how you're actually supposed to dodge it. So it's more simple that way. You just need to run for his sister's armor and go all the way back to the way you came from. He will jump at you, kick his hand a couple of times, and he will fall in, and you will insta kill him. So that's how I fight this boss every time, because the fighting the normal way is really annoying. So it wasn't worth it. So that's how I do it. At number 10 is Nito. Nito is one of the weirder bosses in the game, but if you know what you're doing, he is really easy. Just equip, have all armor, and ignore the skeletons, and he'll throw all of his attacks, especially the AoE one, because it will kill all the other skeletons and just keep hitting him until he dies. But because of his advanced mechanics and all the skeletons he throws at you and you don't know what to do at first, that way he is squeezing in the top 10. At number 9 is Great Grey Wolf Sif. Forget about Crossbred Priscilla. This is the most tragic boss fight in the game, but it's very cool. You fight this big ass wolf with this huge sword. His attacks are really fast, so you must be careful how to dodge it, and you always need to have stamina for his attacks. But if you know how to do that well, the fight should be fine. His attacks are really fast, but if you know how to dodge them, you will be fine. At number 8 is Bed of Chaos. Remember how I said Capra Demon is the second most bullshit boss in the game? Well, this boss is number 1. All he does is sweeping attack that throws you into the ground that he broke, so and it's insta-kill you, so it's very annoying. After you kill the left and the right attack of his hand, you should be like mostly over, but the most annoying thing is actually the middle, because you have to time your jump while you are fearing that he's gonna sweep you again into that same hole and kill you. So you don't really fighting the boss, you're just fighting a very annoying mechanic. But at least if you die and you kill one of his sides, it will stay dead. So even if you come back, you'll only have to kill the one that you didn't kill. So that's a plus. But as a boss, he is really shitty, because it's not much of a boss. He's just like more like of a parkour thing. So most hated boss, I really hate him. At number 7 is Orenstein and Smo. This is the most overrated boss in the game in terms of difficulty. Like, don't get me wrong, he is a very tough boss, or like both of them are a very tough boss. But all the people I saw ranking it, they posted it as the hardest or the second hardest boss in the game. He wasn't really even close to that difficulty, because all you need to do is aggro on Steen and hit him once or twice and then run, and keep doing that while Smo is following you until Ornstein dies, then do the same to Smo. So I didn't have much of a problem with it. I died a couple of times, yes, but he wasn't all of this hype that hyped him to be. He was a cool fight, one of the cooler fights, but it wasn't as hard as people are saying. At number 6 is Sanctuary Guardian. This is our first DLC boss at number 6. This is show you how harder in my opinion, better the DLC bosses are. His attacks are super fast and barely give you any time to hit back, and his poison attack is super annoying because you are poisoned and you need to deal with the poison mid attack, while he is very fast, so he won't give you much time to cure the poison or even heal at all. So you must really be careful fighting this boss. But he is a really cool fight, and I really like all the DLC fights. At number 5 is the Four Kings. This is the game's way of having a DPS test, because if you don't do much damage, you will get destroyed. So the difficulty is depending on how much damage you can do. If you can kill the kings before the next one spawns, he is a really easy boss. But if you are not able to do that, you will have a lot of kings fighting you at the same time, so you won't even be able to damage him even slower, so they will just keep piling and absolutely destroy you. So the only way is to kill this boss is have a really high DPS weapon, but other than that he is easy. But if you do not, he is by far one of the most difficult bosses in the game. And if you are like doing a special challenge where you are doing very low damage, this boss is almost impossible to fight. At number 4 is Gwyn, Lord of the Thunder. You would think that the final boss of the game would be the hardest, but not at all. If you beat the first boss of Sekiro, you will be able to handle this boss very easily. If you use a shield to parry his attacks, he's one of the easiest bosses in the game. If you know his parry timing. But I'm putting him here because if you are not using your parry moves or you don't know how to parry, this boss will be one of the most difficult in the game with his grabs and his really fast attacks that you can't really deal with. So as long as you know what you are doing and you know how to parry, he's really easy. But if you don't, he is super difficult. At number 3 is Artorias of the Abyss Walker, my favorite boss. And yes, the top 3, all of them are DLC bosses. They are my favorite and they're the hardest in the game. Artorias is the fight with a fallen warrior, but even after he fell from grace, he is very quick and hits like a truck if you don't interrupt his buff attack. His buff attack makes him almost double his damage and he does it multiple times, so you need to interrupt it. But other than that, he's a really good boss with really telegraphed attacks, so you know that you are the one at fault that you died. Is one of the most fair fights in the game, and I really like his mechanics. So I would give him number 3 in terms of fairness and difficulty. At number 2 is Black Dragon Calamite. This is the best dragon fight in all of Dark Souls, and I don't think anybody would say anything other than that. But this fight is all about knowing his attacks. He does a lot of really strong and really fast attacks, but you need to remember them all, because if you mess up once, he will combo you to all this. The first time I fought him, I died more than 20 times, just because I don't know what attack he's gonna do next. But once I learned all of his moves, he was quite a simple boss. But at number 2, don't expect to do that anytime soon. This boss will drive you to the ground until you learn every single move he has. And finally, at number 1 is Manus, Father of the Abyss. He is easily the hardest boss in the game. Between his super fast attacks and his dark magic attacks that he gets when he's half down of his HP, that come out of nowhere and can easily destroy you in one shot, and his super looking combo move that's come straight up from an enemy that can one shot you, all of it together makes it the hardest boss in the game. And I would say he is my second best boss of how cool he looks and how cool his moves are. But he is no pushover. He will kill you a lot. You will die at this boss. He is a DLC boss, and that's why I really like all of the DLC bosses. So you should try this game out if you didn't already, and see you next time.